Hello there and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. I'm of course George. Welcome on to the channel everyone. And it's a match preview. I don't seem to have been on for a while. I think it was Saturday. I did it immediately after we lost, and I think when we lose it's a bit like, oh, forget it, get on and try and avoid Leeds United as much as you can until the next game. But yeah, so it's a preview of the Derby County game. Derby County visit Elland Road, so get your binoculars out, polish them off, and get them out and get them looking at the pitch at Elland Road on Saturday lunchtime. It's a 12:30 kickoff for Leeds United on Saturday. The What are we on? Saturday the 7th of December. Now into December. It's Christmas fever for some people. It's starting already, isn't it? So, 7th of December, Derby County come down the road. Let's have a look at it in this video. So, we start with the team news. Any Derby fans watching, remember to like the videos as well. Give me your comments if you want to. Are you going on Saturday? What do you expect from your team? Yeah, and all that sort of stuff. Any Leeds fans watching, if you like the videos, remember to like them and subscribe to the channel if you want to. Yeah, you know the score already, of course. I'm sure it's not the first time you've watched YouTube. So, yeah, that's it. So, team news. I think Daniel Farke, I haven't actually listened, but I've read a bit of the team news. So, yeah, Ethan Ampadu, he had good news on Ethan. I think Ethan is 2 weeks ahead of schedule and could possibly feature in the middle of December. So, maybe around the Christmas period, Ethan Ampadu might be back on the pitch for Leeds United. It's been a little while, but it hasn't been as long as, you know, I expected. Maybe it probably doesn't feel as long as as it probably is because of the way that Joe Rothwell and Ao Tanaka have done in the middle of the park. They've done a sterling job. They've done a fabulous job so far, so we haven't really felt the loss so much of Ethan as we might have done if he hadn't have performed so well. But Ethan Ampadu, the club captain, will be a massive, massive welcome back to the squad once he is fit, fully fit and available. But for the Derby County game, it sounds like Sam Byram is missing. We've got a problem, a little issue down the left-hand side there. Sam Byram is missing, as is probably Junior Firpo, who has a problem with his foot sustained in a training session this week. So looking like he's not going to play. Isaac Schmidt is recovering from a hernia, I think from a hernia or a hernia operation. I'm not especially sure, but he's not going to play. So it probably will be Mr. Max Vober with his first start of the season to play against Derby on Saturday. I would have said, and I would have said with that news in mind, we would line up something like this. Millier in goal, like I said, Vober at left back, Bogle at right back, in the centre-back positions, Mr. Pascal Strauch and Joe Rodon. Then in the centre mid positions, Ao Tanaka and Joe Rothwell. On the wing, I would say it would be, will Ramazani be ready for a start? I would say if he is, throw him in there. Him on the left, Willie Nonto on the right, and Brendan Aronson in the middle. And then I would say Joe Perot will probably start up front again, as ineffective as he was at Blackburn. Away games doesn't seem to do much. Well, home games doesn't seem to do much, but he does at least pop up with the odd goal at home, doesn't he? He doesn't seem to do much away from home, but I think Joel Perot will probably get the nod over Mateo Joseph. Like I said, if Ramazani can start the game, he's had another week really to recover when the game comes around on Saturday. I'd throw him in if so. Dan James. It's funny, either one of the four players in there could do a job. Manor Solomon looks a lot better than he did at the start of the season, so he also could come in and do a job. I'm sure he could. Looking better than he did at the start of the season. So let's wait and see what Daniel does. I have no problem either way, whichever way he wants to do with them four wingers. Let's wait and see. Or he could mix it up, maybe drop Brendan Aronson, who hasn't been the best over the last few games, has he? Let's wait and see. But let's get into looking a bit more at Derby County anyway, because they are the opposition on Saturday lunchtime. Like I said, Derby at the top. Derby do have a little bit of history, don't they, with Leeds? A little bit of a messy history over the last sort of 6 or 7 years, stemming, of course, from the Spygate situation, where Marcelo Bielsa, of course, sent troops to the Derby County training ground to have a look at their training session. They, of course, famously now got the binoculars out and tried to have a peek at what Derby were up to. Derby were up there at the top of the division with us at the time. Obviously, the season did did all boil down to that playoff semi-final defeat by Derby County. Derby lost in the final against Villa, and it was Aston Villa who eventually went up in that 18-19 season. We, of course, got promoted the season afterwards. I think Derby struggled, maybe even got relegated. I can't remember. I don't think they got relegated that season, but I don't think they did very well. Ultimately did relegate not long after that, and have only just come back up to the Championship after promotion last season from League One. Mr. Paul Warne is the manager. He's been there now for just over 2 years, so he did oversee that promotion from League One last season. It was through the playoffs they won? No, it wasn't. It was Oxford who won through the playoffs. So Derby got, automatic promotion last season. So fair enough. And that's fine. But they come to Elland Road on the back of only one win in the last 5 games. No wins in the last 4. That is 2 draws and 2 defeats. Last time out, lost 2-1 away from, it was at home at Pride Park against Sheffield Wednesday. They lost it late on in that game. They currently sit in 15th position on 20 points, 5 points above the relegation zone. It's probably, if you're going to be realistic, whereabouts Derby County would probably finish. I don't think they'll get relegated because they seem to pick up points against the teams in and around them and down there with them, and points or it'd be a win. They seem to be able to churn out points against the teams in and around them, which will probably see them home to some effect in some kind of 15, 16 position, probably something like this. I would probably see them ending the season in, although I could be wrong, of course. You never know what's going to happen. We're coming now into the middle of the season, aren't we? So still plenty of time to go. So we'll wait and see what happens in the forthcoming matches. But Derby, a bit of a funny one, really. Mr. Warne, the manager Warne, seems to want to change the formation every single match, depending on who they're coming up against. So goodness knows what we're going to see them line up in on Saturday. He does like the Marcelo Bielsa inspired 4-1-4-1 formation. Maybe he's going to go with that, but he has messed around with it, including a back 3 at times as well. Although maybe he might see fit to go with maybe a back 5 or a midfield 5 to try and combat Leeds and suppress our attacking prowess. So maybe he does that. I don't know. He probably will. Derby will come and sit like every single away team does to Elland Road. Try and sit and try counter attack us or get us on the break. On the break. A set piece might go for them here, there. They'll try and play for that sort of thing. Because Leeds, it's up to Leeds to try and break Derby County down. Basically, they will come for a point, and anything else is a bonus. Set up the shop and say, can you break us down? If you can, fair enough. If you can't, we might try and nick it at the other end. So obviously, every game is difficult, really, in some way. Derby will relish the opportunity to come to Leeds and cause an upset if they can. And obviously there is that little bit of bad blood, as they say, between the two sides of recent times, although we haven't had a meeting with Derby since July of 2020, the summer in which we got promoted. It was a 3-1 win away at Pride Park. The last 5 at Elland Road have been split, really. 2 wins for Derby, one of which was that horrifying and horrible game at Elland Road, which ended in a 4-2 defeat for Leeds. After winning the first leg of the playoff final, we fell to defeat, and having put ourselves 2-0 up on the tie on aggregate in that game. We fell an awful sort of evening, horrible stuff, and they relished in it, didn't they? They absolutely relished in it. Of course they did. With the binoculars out, Jane Bogle was among one of them players on the Elland Road pitch in purple or dark blue that evening, wasn't he? And there are pictures of him with the binoculars out as well. But there you go, that's what happens. He is now a Leeds United player and will be coming up against a team. I think he did start at Derby, didn't he, Jaden Bogle? So coming up against his boyhood side on Saturday. But yeah, obviously that was a horrible game. Incidentally, the Spygate game we did win 2-0 very comfortably. I seem to remember Kemar Roof, he might have got both of the goals that evening in a 2-0 win. Other ones were, I think, Derby won one, Leeds won another one. It does go back to 2017, so a little way back. The last meeting between the two sides at Elland Road was a 1-1 draw in September of 2019. So over 5 years ago now, a derby last came to Elland Road, and it was a 1-1 draw. Chris Martin, not the Coldplay man, of course, he got a late stoppage time equaliser in that game. I think there was an own goal that had been scored that had put Leeds 1-0 up in that game. Ended 1-1. That was the last time the two teams met at Elland Road. But I predict Leeds win this game. I don't think it'll be a trouble. I think it'll be like every other Elland Road game we've seen this season and last season potentially as well. Derby, not the best of championship sides, pretty average championship side, will sit in and try and frustrate Leeds and then try and hit Leeds on the break, like I said, or a corner kick or a free kick somewhere. You know, if they've got the quality, have they got the quality in the side? I'm not so sure. I think Mr. Yates is their top scorer, isn't he, on 4 goals. He's on loan from, I think he's on loan from Swansea, isn't he? Jerry Yates, is it? Or Jerry Yates? Jerry Yates, I think it is. On loan from Swansea, he's got 4 goals so far this season. He's their top scorer. There's one or two others, but Mendes Lang on his day can cause an issue potentially. There's one or two that can cause issue. Osborne used to play for Sheffield United. He's a decent player on his day as well. So let's wait and see. But I do expect Leeds to win this game in the end. We've got a point to prove after Blackburn. We really need to get these 3 points in the bag and move on to Preston away, which for me is much more the test of where this team are at. We need to start picking up points away from home, winning game away from home, really. It would be, beneficial to the table. We have now slipped into the playoff positions. We are in 3rd position. But I think we play before everybody else, so a win would take us, into the automatics, wouldn't it? If not top of the table, I'm not sure. But there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this game below. Let's see what happens Saturday. It's good to be back at home though, isn't it? Thanks a lot for watching. March on together. I'll see you on the next one.